Ever wonder how a new drug actually gets made? Well, here's the secret. No pharma company, not even the giants, does it all by themselves. Nope. Behind every single breakthrough, there's this hidden universe of specialist partners. You could almost call them the ghostwriters of modern medicine. So let's pull back the curtain and meet them.
I mean, think about it. You see a pill in a bottle and it looks pretty simple, right? But getting from some idea in a lab to that actual pill in your hand, that journey is one of the most complex, crazy expensive, and tightly regulated things we do as a species. So, how on earth does it really happen? Okay, to get our heads around this, we're going to use a little analogy. Let's call it popcorn medicine. Just imagine a big pharma company invents this amazing new kind of popcorn. Now, they're the brand, they own the idea, but they don't actually do all the work themselves. Instead, they hire specialists. They get one partner to run the taste tests, think of those as the clinical trials. They hire another partner to just operate the factory and churn out the popcorn, and sometimes they find a partner who can do it all, design the perfect recipe, and run the factory. This one idea, it's the key to understanding this whole hidden world.
So that brings us to the big question, what we're calling the popcorn medicine problem. Why? Why do all this? Why not just build everything yourself?
Well, the short answer is, it's just mind-bogglingly expensive and complicated. I mean, to build just one factory that meets all the crazy strict government rules, you're talking over $500 million. Seriously. Now imagine you need totally different kinds of factories for pills, for injectables, for these new super advanced cell therapies. It's just not going to happen. It's not feasible. So if you want to innovate or honestly just survive, you have to hand off some of this work to the specialists.
All right, so who are these specialist partners? Let's meet the three main players in this whole ecosystem.
First up, we've got the CRO. That stands for Contract Research Organization. Think of these guys as the data nerds, the scientists. Their job isn't to make the medicine, it's to test it. So back in our popcorn world, the CRO is the company you hire to run the official taste tests. You know, with thousands of volunteers. They're the ones meticulously collecting all the data and writing up that giant report for the government to prove, yep, this popcorn is safe and it tastes great.
Okay, next up is the CMO, the Contract Manufacturing Organization. These guys are all about one thing, production. They are the factory. The pharma company hands them the secret recipe, and the CMO's only job is to churn out, say, 10,000 bags of that popcorn every single day. Exactly the same, perfectly, without fail. They don't invent anything, they just execute.
And that brings us to our third partner, the CDMO. See that extra letter, D? That stands for development. So this is the Contract Development and Manufacturing Organization. And what's so cool about them is that they do both. They're the masters of the recipe and the factory. They can actually help you figure out the perfect formula for your popcorn. Then they'll build the assembly line and then they'll run it for you. It's the whole shebang, an all-in-one solution. So this table really lays it all out, side by side. You can see it, right? If your main job is running clinical trials, that's a job for a CRO. If you just need someone to manufacture millions of pills at commercial scale, you're looking at a CMO or a CDMO. But what if you need to develop that drug's recipe, the formulation, from the very beginning? Now that's the special sauce of the CDMO. The key thing to get here is that it's not one size fits all. A pharma company picks the right partner for the right job. Okay, so we've met the players, CRO, CMO, CDMO. Now let's put it all together and see how they actually fit into a drug's journey, from a lab bench all the way to the pharmacy shelf. So a drug's life basically has 4 big stages. It all starts in the preclinical stage. Here, a CDMO might be working on that very first recipe, while a CRO is running the first little safety tests. Then you move into clinical trials. This is where the CRO really shines, managing those huge tests with thousands of patients. Meanwhile, a CMO or CDMO is making the actual pills for the trial. After that, you've got regulatory submission, which is basically a mountain of paperwork. Both partners are feeding in critical data to get that thumbs up from regulators. And then, finally, commercial launch. This is where a big CMO or CDMO takes over to start manufacturing the drug for millions of people.
Okay, listen up, because this is probably the single most important point of this whole explainer. If you remember just one thing, make it this. No matter who's doing the work, the CRO, the CMO, doesn't matter. The pharma company, which is officially called the sponsor, is always the one on the hook. They own the drug, and at the end of the day, they have the ultimate legal responsibility to regulators, and more importantly to patients, for that drug's quality and safety. The buck always stops with them.
So you might be thinking, this sounds really complicated. Why bother? What are the real trade-offs here? Well, that brings us to the partnership payoff. And, of course, the risks that come right along with it.
On the one hand, the advantages are huge. We're talking access to world-class experts you could never hire yourself. You save hundreds of millions of dollars because you don't have to build those factories, and you can just move so much faster. But, and this is a big but, the challenges are just as serious. You give up direct control. You're putting your secret recipe, your intellectual property, at risk. And your company's fate is now completely tied to your partner's quality. Think about it. One slip-up at a single partner factory could shut down the entire global supply of a life-saving medicine. The stakes are incredibly high.
So, what does this whole outsourcing universe actually look like today in the real world? Let's zoom out a bit and take a look at the modern landscape, its massive scale, and some of the really urgent problems it's dealing with right now. Okay, just to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about, the global market for just the CDMOs, remember, the development and manufacturing partners, is projected to be worth $173 billion this year. Let that sink in. This isn't some small niche part of the business. It is the business.
And right now, this massive system is feeling the pressure. For one, the insane demand for drugs like Ozempic has created this massive squeeze on manufacturing capacity. There's just not enough to go around. Then you've got geopolitical issues like the Biosecure Act in the US, which is making companies scramble to move their supply chains out of certain countries. On top of all that, totally new kinds of medicine like cell and gene therapies need entirely new kinds of factories that, frankly, the industry is still figuring out how to build.
So when you put it all together, what does it mean? It means this hidden universe of CROs, CMOs, and CDMOs, it's not just some interesting side note. It is the backbone. It's the fundamental way that pretty much every single modern medicine gets developed, tested, manufactured, and ultimately delivered to the people who need it.
And that really leaves us with one big question to think about. As science keeps pushing forward into these incredibly complex new frontiers, we're talking personalized cell therapies, custom mRNA vaccines, the old ways of doing things just aren't going to cut it. So the real question is, how is this entire universe of partners going to have to evolve, to reinvent itself, to be able to build the medicines of tomorrow?